African Americans are not from Africa. Colored people, black people are not from Africa. We are not the same.
What is African culture? You wash your kid's head in cow pee. You know, I see a lot of Africans, they bend their head under cows and let cows piss on their head. Y'all don't even live past 35. The smartest person in Africa lives in Burkina Faso.
I am not an African. I am a Black American. What that means is that I am not Haitian. I am not Nigerian. I am not from any of these other countries.
The consistent denial of Africa as the true root of Black Americans is a profound issue. It demands our careful attention, our patience, and most importantly, an unwavering commitment to historical truth. This denial is far more than a simple insult or a source of anger. It represents a deep generational misunderstanding. This misunderstanding was born from immense pain, from centuries of deliberate distortion. It stems from a history meticulously crafted by those who sought to erase Africa's inherent dignity. For too long, the narrative has been controlled, obscuring the vibrant civilizations that existed before the transatlantic tragedy. The truth must be told with absolute clarity. The vast majority of Black Americans trace their origins directly to Africa. They did not leave their homelands by choice. They were brutally taken. From the 15th century through the 19th, millions were captured, shackled, and forcibly transported across the Atlantic. This horrific journey is known as the transatlantic slave trade. From the vibrant coasts of West Africa and Central Africa, countless people were carried away. The Yoruba and Igbo from what is now Nigeria, the Akan and Ashanti from Ghana, the Wolof and Mandinka from Senegal and Gambia, the Congo and Bakongo from Angola and the Congo. These were not nameless, faceless tribes. They were distinct nations, powerful kingdoms, and sophisticated civilizations. Each possessed rich languages, intricate cultures, profound art forms, and well-ordered societies. And yet, they were torn from their homes, packed into unimaginable conditions aboard ships, and treated as mere cargo. The journey itself, the infamous Middle Passage, was a living hell. It claimed the lives of untold numbers, a testament to its unspeakable brutality. Those who miraculously survived were then sold into brutal plantation systems across the Americas, their humanity systematically stripped away. When the descendants of those taken hear this harrowing history repeated endlessly, when they are constantly reminded, your ancestors were slaves, it becomes an unbearable burden. No people desire their entire identity to be reduced solely to chains and suffering. Consequently, in America, many began to assert, we are not Africans. This assertion was not simply a denial of heritage. It was a visceral reaction to profound humiliation. It was a desperate defense against a world that had relentlessly portrayed Africa as backward, impoverished, and shameful. For centuries, European colonizers deliberately spread lies. They claimed Africa had no civilization, that it contributed nothing to humanity's progress. They even twisted so-called science to declare Africans inherently inferior. This vile propaganda served to justify the unspeakable horrors of slavery and colonization. These lies were repeated for generations, permeating society until, tragically, even some descendants of Africa began to internalize them. To escape this crushing stigma, some embraced alternative origins. Some claimed Native American ancestry. Others asserted descent from ancient Hebrews or Moors. Still others simply declared, we are American, not African. But here is the undeniable truth that both history and science unequivocally confirm. All of humanity originates from Africa, the oldest skeletal remains of modern humans. The genetic evidence tracing our earliest mothers and fathers, all point definitively to Africa. This profound reality means that to deny Africa is not merely to deny Black heritage. It is, in fact, to deny the very root of humanity itself. What, then, is the true essence of such denial? It is a testament to the enduring power of historical trauma and systemic dehumanization. It reflects the deep psychological scars left by centuries of oppression. We, here in Africa, do not look upon our brothers and sisters abroad with condemnation. On the contrary, we understand the profound reasons behind this complex sentiment. We understand the deep, enduring scars. For over 400 years, you were relentlessly told that Africa was a place of darkness and savagery. Simultaneously, you yourselves were treated as less than human. To carry both identities, African and American, has been an incredibly heavy burden, a constant negotiation of self in a world that sought to diminish both. But let the truth be spoken with balance and clarity. Africa is not solely the memory of chains and suffering. Africa is the venerable mother of civilizations. Long before the brutal era of colonization, long before the transatlantic slave trade, this magnificent land produced kingdoms of unparalleled gold, centers of profound scholarship and architectural marvels. Timbuktu, for instance, was a beacon of learning and intellectual inquiry when much of Europe was still steeped in ignorance. Ancient Egypt gifted the world foundational knowledge in mathematics, medicine, and philosophy. The majestic Great Zimbabwe raised sophisticated stone cities without any foreign assistance, a testament to indigenous ingenuity. The Yoruba people developed complex systems of governance and intricate artistic traditions. The Ashanti forged powerful empires built on wealth and military prowess. This is the true Africa that was deliberately hidden from you. This is the Africa that colonial education systematically refused to teach you, fearing the power of such knowledge. Now, when some among you say, "We are not Africans," understand this deeply. You are not rejecting the truth of your ancestry. Instead, you are rejecting the profound shame that was unjustly forced upon Africa's name. But Africa is not shame. Africa is an enduring symbol of strength. Africa is the very origin of humanity. We here are immensely proud of what you have become in America. Despite unimaginable oppression, you have gifted the world iconic leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks. You have given us cultural giants like Muhammad Ali and Maya Angelou. You have created music that has transformed the globe: jazz, blues, hip-hop, and so much more. You have excelled in science, in sports, in politics, and in every field imaginable. Your greatness is not separate from Africa. It is Africa's greatness, continued and manifested on another shore. But let me be unequivocally clear. Do not erase your root. Identity is not a weakness. It is the very foundation of pride and resilience. A tree may grow and flourish in new soil, but if it forgets the powerful seed from which it sprang, it will never stand truly strong. We are not demanding that you return to Africa. No. Africa must rise again through the dedicated hands of those who remain here, those who are committed to building its future. But for you, the children of those who were taken, it is profoundly important to know who you are, not to live in the chains of the past, but to carry the truth of your heritage with dignity and power. The denial of Africa is understandable, given the historical context, but it is no longer necessary. You do not need to reject Africa to be fully American. You are both. That is not a contradiction. That is an unparalleled source of power. For if all humanity comes from Africa, then to be African is not a shame. It is a universal truth, a badge of honor. Stand firmly in that truth. Do not allow the insidious lies of colonizers to define you. Do not let the stigma of poverty and conflict painted onto Africa by foreign tongues convince you that your origin is a disgrace. Africa is not ashamed of you. Therefore, you must never be ashamed of Africa. Remember where your ancestors came from the fertile Niger Delta, from the gold-rich coasts, from the vibrant Senegambia, from the powerful Congo Kingdom. Remember not just the chains, but the magnificent kingdoms and sophisticated cultures they left behind. And understand this profound truth. You were taken, but you were not broken. You were enslaved, but you were not erased. You survived. You built. You rose. The time has come not to deny, but to reconcile, to walk forward with the empowering truth that you are African by blood, American by history, and human by origin. That is your strength. That is your identity. That is your power. Embrace your heritage. Dive deeper into the rich, untold history of pre-colonial Africa. Research the kingdoms, the scholars, the artists, and the innovators who shaped the continent. Share your discoveries with family and friends. Connect with your roots. Explore DNA ancestry services to pinpoint your specific African origins. Join online communities dedicated to African history and culture. Support the narrative. Seek out and champion books, documentaries, and educational resources that accurately portray Africa's glorious past and vibrant present. Your journey of self-discovery is a powerful act of reclamation. Let's build a future where our full history is celebrated.